Hi, everybody. So when we last left off, I was struggling with this question, and for good reason. So where we were is, just to remind you, we had just written the equation for sulfuric acid reacting with magnesium hydroxide to produce magnesium sulfate and water. And so we did recognize that that was a 1-to-1 mole ratio between H's and OH's. And that's important for us to know because we have to make sure we understand what is going on here. So let's step back just a little bit more to previous questions. The very first question that was asked of us was, the antacid tablet is added to 50.00 centimeters cubed of 0.1 molar sulfuric acid. Calculate the amount in moles of H2SO4. So we did that. We found out how many moles of H2SO4 was what the antacid tablet was added to. But then, after we write our equation, we are asked this question. The excess, that means that there was excess sulfuric acid that was left over after the reaction with the tablet, and now this excess sulfuric acid is being neutralized with another base. So here we have some sodium hydroxide, which gives you the amount of sodium hydroxide that is reacted to completely neutralize the sulfuric acid. In other words, we're going to use it all up. Here's the important part. The sodium hydroxide is not going to be in a 1-to-1 ratio with the sulfuric acid. Let's go on and look at the mark scheme. For this mark scheme, the sodium hydroxide, the hydroxide is exactly 1/2 of the amount of hydrogen. So you can see hydroxide here. There's an OH. That's 1 mole of OH for every 2 moles of H2SO4, 2 moles of H's. So that's why you see the 1/2 here. 1 mole of hydroxide to 2 moles of H2SO4. So when we do our liters times molarity again, we have to add in this 1/2, otherwise we'll think that we used up all of it, and that is not the case. So we end up with moles of 0.001178. Okay, so now that we know what is going on and how much was used up, how much H2SO4 was used up of the excess, then we can figure out how much H2SO4 reacted with the MgOH, and we're going to do that using a subtraction problem. So, if you would please subtract for your answer the amount from 1C from the amount of moles you got in 1A. And I'm going to stop and let you do that math and go ahead and put that in your Ed puzzle before we go on. All right, there it is. The amount of moles that we got in 1A, subtracting the amount of moles that we got in 1C, then we were able to find out the number of moles of H2SO4. Now, our next question then follows from this one, and that is that if we know the moles of H2SO4 that reacted with the tablet, that's this, MgOH, then we also know the moles of the tablet that reacted, because remember, those were in a 1-to-1 ratio. All right, if you know the moles of the tablet, can you find the grams? I'll let you fill that part in on your Ed puzzle next. Okay, so if we know the moles of MgOH, we know the moles of H2SO4, they were the same, 0.00382. Multiplying the moles reacted times the molar mass of MgOH2, then we're getting the amount of grams, right? Now, how do you know that it's 3 significant figures? If I were you, I would just always use 3 significant figures. You can always go back to the initial numbers given to you in the problem and realize that that is 3 significant figures as well. All right, we go on to our final question here. And for our final question, now we have to be able to calculate a percent by mass. So our percent by mass, please remember, is going to be part. I'm pointing at the part right now over the whole times 100. So please go ahead and calculate for Edpuzzle right now the percent by math. And ta-da! If you got that, then you got the right number of significant figures. You also got the right percent by math. Woo! That was kind of a roller coaster when you think about it for an IB set of questions. This is the way they are. It is not good news, I know, and I'm very sorry to tell you that, but yikes, this is the way they are. At this time, if you would please try to complete the practice problems I have provided for you on a separate sheet. We will go forward from there and have you turn those practice problems in as your assignment for this week. I hope you're all doing good. Stay happy and stay healthy. Talk to you real soon.